Alright, so my wife just dropped me off. That's her pulling away. Last time I was on this part of the trail, I came out of the woods right behind me there. I was on an overnight hike with my son. It was April 23rd. It is now November 10th. And I'm going to enter the woods on this side. And I hope to make it to Lanes Fork Farm campground tonight. It's about 8.5 to 9 miles away. It's a little bit off trail. This is the Buckeye Trail, and this is section point 4 of the trail. And I'm hiking this in a clockwise direction. It is, what time is it? It is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a Thursday on November the 10th. I'm gonna throw my pack on here. I've got a lot of equipment that I'm testing out for the first time. I'm trying out a pair of toe socks. It's a different brand. It's not Ingenges. It's a different brand. I want to see how they work. They're completely synthetic. I've got a pair of alpaca wool thick socks that I'm going to wear tonight to see how they work for sleeping socks. I think I could use them for hiking socks too, but they're really thick. And I'd have to wear some kind of liners underneath of them. And then I also got a pair of alpaca wool fingerless gloves. I'll probably be using those tomorrow since it's supposed to be a lot colder tomorrow. It's like 72 degrees now. And then for my hammock, it's the first time I'm using an underquilt. The underquilt's like a 40-degree underquilt. But my sleeping bag that I have that I'll be sleeping in inside the quilt is rated to like -10. So even if compressing the insulation, I should still be good. So I'm gonna start walking here. Like I said, it's gonna get dark on me really quick today. Probably about 5:30. The sun will set. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll see you on down the trail. So I'm following the blue blazes. It's the way that the Buckeye Trail's marked here. This is also part of the North Country Trail. They share with the biggest part of the wilderness. Leave the North Country Trail and the Buckeye Trail follow the same path. Water may be a problem, at least for today. In fact, there is a weather advisory for fire conditions out for yesterday and today. I don't think it will be a problem tomorrow, because tomorrow there's a 100% chance of rain starting at about 1 a.m. tonight. So I'll get to test out my hammock system that way too. I've never really had it out in the rain. And that's partially why I like doing the Buckeye Trail. It's close to home. And if I need to bail out somewhere, I can bail out and walk to a town I know. But it also lets me get out and test the equipment. I plan on testing some really cold weather stuff later, closer to in December and possibly January. So I haven't gone very far, and this is the first time I've seen anything like this marked on this trail. And I've hiked a lot of the Wilderness Fork Loop over the last 9 months. I can only assume that it's like maybe a detour of the trail. I don't know. One thing that I've noticed, the leaves have been undisturbed and they are slick going downhill right now. I'm looking for the next blue blaze. I assume it's just a little bit further down here. says they're marked as bearing trees. I don't know if you can see that. It's like it's posted. It's got a U.S. Forest Service there. It's the first time I've seen that on trees. It's on another one right there. That looks to be a brand new survey marker here. U.S. Department of Agriculture, Forest Service. So, like a lot of areas on this section of trail, it follows a lot of the gas lines, some of them of which have been broken, but there's a bunch of them here. And there's an intermittent stream here. However, there's been some poolable water where if you really needed to, you could clear out the leaves, wait for it to settle, and then get water if you needed to. You could scoop there if you needed to. And again down here also. You can definitely scoop here. Doesn't look too brackish. I don't know how well you could see that. It's bubbling right out of the ground, right in the middle of that pool. Yeah, a lot of air bubbles coming in there, it's bubbling up. Definitely running right there over those rocks, so I would not be afraid to drink that. Question is that a natural gas line leaking? I don't see one going in. There's one there above me, but I don't think there's one in the creek. It's definitely one of the most interesting water holes I've seen out here. So I'm coming up on Whipple section 0.5 where it crosses that road right there below me. And you can see, I mean, houses and stuff here. So well, you look like you're in the boonies. You're really not. And there's another house down here, right across the little bridge of the creek, over to the right. Anyway, let me get down off this so I don't break my neck in the leaves. The trail crosses the road here. And the next one's up there. So I'd say across the creek and head up the bank on the far side. Remnants of the oil and gas industry is all over this section of trail here. Up there in the woods you can see other tanks that have been abandoned. There's been a resurgence in the area, but I mean, a lot of old stuff still here through here. old pipe going through the ground that's rusted through, no longer used. The old metal pipe. Anyway, I'm about to approach Whipple section point 6. I'll let you know when I get there. So I just finished the trail between section point 5 and section point 6, and I found this part of the trail to be definitely easier than between section 4 and 5. Section 4 and 5, just the leaf coverage, it wasn't a hard trail, but the leaf coverage of the trail was so even that often you couldn't see the trail, and you were guessing that you were walking on the trail, and the markers were so far in between the markers that sometimes you weren't on the trail. And that's where I ran into that kid, or young man, hunting. Is I happened to look up on the bank, and he was setting up on where the trail was, and I was off trail. But this last section was definitely maybe more traveled, maybe on the trail, and because you could actually see through the leaves where the trail was. So this next section, it's like a 3-mile section. There's a 0.4 mile section that is a 20% decline. So looking forward to that. I need to get to that section before it gets dark. It is like 10 to 4 right now. So I'm going to lose light really quick. And then after that decline, I had cross a creek and then go up about another 200-foot incline over with a couple switchbacks in it. And then after that, I think it's pretty easy going down to the Muskingum River and then out to the road. And then I'd be able to go down to section point 8. Anyway, so I'll report in how that goes. Anyway, see you down trail. So I lost my light before I can make it down off this ridge. So definitely slow moving now. Gets steep in places, but you can see I'm still chugging along. It's about 10 till 6 is the time. There's a trail marker. Where'd it go? All right. I'll talk to you guys more at the bottom of this. Just heard a buck snort. But the reason I'm turning this on is I was beginning to wonder if I was on the trail, because I went forever without seeing a blaze. But down there, it's kind of hard to see without being light, but that's the Little Muskingum River. And I came from that direction. But as I came down the hill, there was all kinds of blowdowns as it met. And to tell you what, if it wasn't for far out, I would have really doubted if I was on the trail. Anyway, I should be dropping down next to the creek here shortly. Sorry, it is the Little Muskingum River. It's not a creek, though I've seen creeks in West Virginia wider than this. So it's 6:40, and the temperature's dropped down to 54 so far. I'm having a hard time keeping track of the trail too. They just don't believe down next to the creek, believe in blazes. So I get off of it, and I get back on it, and I get off of it. But, definitely a lot of wildlife. I stopped here because it was making all kinds of racket. And as soon as I stopped, as soon as I stopped walking, they stopped hooting. So hopefully I can get it on video so you can hear the audio of them and what they're doing. Hopefully you heard that. There's something scurrying around out there too. So I've got to go back and find the trail again. Hey everybody, so I'm finally beginning the climb up away from the Little Miss Kingdom River. It's a pretty steep climb. It looks like maybe a half mile or so, and then it almost meets a road, and the trail in a mile and a half from here will meet that road. So once I get to the top, I'll have to make a decision of whether I just want to road walk or go ahead and finish out what's left of the trail until it meets the road. The deciding factor for me probably is going to be how well marked it is, because that last section, it drove me absolutely bonkers. Anyway, see you up the hill. So I'm about halfway up this hill. In the daytime, that boulder that I'm getting ready to go past would be an impressive sight. Right there's my trail markers. Whew, wearing me out. Definitely tough. I think I'm leaning more and more to taking that road walk. So it's 8 p.m. It got back up to 57 degrees after I left the river valley. And the moon's just rising above the hills there. Climbing up out of the valley there, I missed the switchback and had the bushwhack. Took me forever to find the trail, but I'm sitting on it right now, taking a break. But that pretty much calls it for me. As soon as I get to the top of this hill, I'm going to bushwhack further out to the road and then take the road the rest of the way into the camp. Hopefully I'll get there by 9:30, 10 o'clock. I don't know how well you can see this, but this is, I made it to the road. I'm actually walking by the moonlight, which is right back here, almost full. I think it's, what was it, waning, waxing? I can never remember. You think it would as much as of a science geek I used to be. But I'm now on the road, saving my battery in my headlamp. If somebody comes down the road, vehicle or something, or a four-wheeler or something, I'll turn it on. Whew. Anyway, I'll let you know when I get to camp. Probably be a couple hours. It's like 8:30 right now. Hey, good morning everybody. Greetings on Veterans Day. So last night I came in and it was dark. I mean, the moon was behind the clouds. I couldn't see anything. So, and this is the Lane Farm campground. So when I came in, there was a truck pulled up there. He pulled out after I already started setting up, but I probably picked the two worst trees to set up my hammock. And a couple things right off the bat I know is I need a bigger tarp, because it barely covered the ends of the hammock itself. And when it started raining, I had an extra tarp with me. I draped over one end and it kept me dry, but as I'm packing up, you can definitely tell I wouldn't have stayed dry if I was just depending on that hammock. And I use that tarp, which is over there, I got to roll up yet. I use it to as a ground cloth mainly. But I slept well last night. You could tell when it started raining, definitely, but I slept good. The underquilt definitely did its job. My surplus army sleeping bags, even though they take up a lot of space, they kept me nice and toasty, and at times they kept me too toasty. I would wake up and my hands would be sweating. I could feel the sweat on my hands from where I got too hot in it. So today I think I'm going to do a change of plans. I think I'm going to go ahead and hike along Route 26 and then go down to an old covered bridge and then hike out to the road and get a ride to pick me up. I know it's not the Buckeye Trail, but I'm still out doing stuff. I'm enjoying my day even though it's raining. last night was a good test of some of my equipment. One thing I didn't get to test was my alpaca gloves. I was wanting to test those today, especially, but I forgot to pack them. And I looked all over the house for them more than, 2 or 3 different times, or more than once. And I thought they were already in my backpack, but obviously they weren't. So I still got my breakfast to eat. The meal I had last night, I added too much water to. That's one other reason is I spilt it inside the hammock. So I had stuff covered with chicken Alfredo. My little alcohol stove I won't be using on a trip like this anymore. I could not get the water to come to a full boil. So it took a long time for anything to dehydrate or rehydrate. Anyway, let me finish packing up here, get my pack cover on, and get set up and get ready to go. Oh, another thing, I was going to filter water and walk down to the creek. Had my spare water bottle with me to get water, and when I got down there, there was a dead animal. I'd been there 2 or 3 days at least. Something was a groundhog. Something killed it down next to the water, so I didn't get water. But gentleman over here is a United States Marine Corps veteran. Gave me a couple bottles of water, which should get me to where I need to go. It's like 7 miles, so, and I still got a little bit of water left from yesterday. Forgot my medication, so I can't take my morning medications. Thank God I don't take very many, and I wouldn't die without it. That's just another reason. I didn't have my Motrin last night, so my feet and legs ached for quite a while until things finally settled in. No blisters, which is good news. Though today I do have my alpaca socks on. They worked wonders last night. Like I said, I was probably too hot last night, but they felt really great, and they kept the moisture wicking away from my feet. But today I've got my toe socks on, and then the alpaca socks on over top of it, since they are somewhat water resistant. Anyway, see you guys down the trail, the road, whatever I find today. So right now it's 56 degrees, and my rain jacket got wetted out early, so the silicone sealant I bought in the camping department at Walmart was not worth a crap. Finally got up on this hill and got signal, so I think my wife's going to come get me, but I'm going to keep on cruising in the direction. One thing about doing a road walk like this, it's not backcountry hiking like I like, but you see people's houses and you see people the way they live. You just don't, when you get time to absorb it, you don't see that in a car when you're just driving by at 55 miles an hour on a 2-lane state highway. You just don't, you might glimpse a couple things, but you don't understand the way people are living in their houses, maybe, or it's just a different perspective on things. Anyway, I'm gonna keep hiking here. I definitely am hot, a little bit sweaty underneath this rain jacket. When I get to a good spot, I'll probably take it off. Later. So to recap, I started this hike at section point 4, which is on Chandler Road, about 8 miles north of Newport, Ohio. I continued until I began a steep hill climb after leaving the Little Miss Kingdom River. And by this time, I'd lost all my light, and it was very difficult to follow the trail markers, so I made the decision to bushwhack out to the road. Once I got to the road, I stayed on the road for about another mile or so, and it eventually came to where the trail joined the road at section point 7. I then continued on the trail past section point 8 until it met Route 26, which I then diverged and then stayed on Route 26 until it came to Lane Farm Campground. The next morning, I hiked in the rain towards Marietta, Ohio on Route 26 for about a total of 1.3 miles. Along the way, I climbed the hill, and at some point I got cell service back and my phone blew up and had all kinds of messages from my wife where she was worried about me. I then called my wife, and she graciously agreed to come pick me up along Route 26. To be honest with you, it was a good call to go ahead and stop my hike. Later on in the day, it really started to pour down the rain, and the temperature started to drop, and the bad weather continued into the following day. The tarp that I currently have with my hammock is just not sufficient for that kind of wet weather. I think I need something more like a 13-foot tarp. That way it'll allow me to close in the ends a little bit more, providing a better windbreak as well as more protection from the rain. Also, to provide a better peace of mind, Julie had me order a Zoleo satellite communicator. The majority of this hike I had no cell service. And that goes for the same for the biggest part of the wilderness loop that I've hiked this year. Having this satellite communicator will allow her to know where I am at all times while I'm on the hike, as well as providing a means for us to have two-way messaging back and forth when I don't have cell service. And to even provide another bigger peace of mind, it's got that SOS feature, so that if I get into trouble and for some reason need it, I can get a rescue. Anyway, thanks for watching my first video. I've hiked a few hundred miles this past year and attempted to document each of my trips in pictures and in video. I hope to post some of these trips on this channel soon, so if you don't mind, please subscribe and click the notification bell. Doing so will help this channel grow and in turn let you know when my new videos are posted. And please leave any comments below and I'll try to get back with you. Thanks again, and I hope to see you down the trail.